Now, Patrick, we come to the second part of the interview, which is the evolution of the CISO's role. And I think no better person than you can talk more about it, right? So, when you started your role as a CISO to what it is now, how much do you think has changed?
That's like asking how much the internet has changed, right? So then the internet keeps changing. When you say cyber, the word cyber itself means the internet, right? Cyberspace means the internet. And the cyber world has changed a lot. Today we are talking about the metaverse, right? In 1992, when Jeff Bezos was talking about the internet, many people, in fact, the entire world did not know what he was talking about, right? But in 1995, he made his first sale, right? July 1995 was when Jeff Bezos made his first sale through Amazon. And today, as we speak, just as I say this word, you know how many thousand transactions Jeff Bezos is doing, right? Or Amazon is doing, for that matter. The internet has changed a lot. Now, as you know, the last 2 years with the pandemic, things have changed even more. Today, pretty much everything is online. Schools are online, colleges are online, work is online, shopping is online, marriages are online. So you talk about it, everything is pretty much online, right?
Practically living online, true.
We are practically living online, and eventually my boss was joking, eventually we'll be living in the metaverse. I'm like, seriously? But then he was saying, and he said, I actually copied this from my boss. He was actually quoting this Jeff Bezos example. He said that, did we know that? No. In fact, when I was in my third or fourth year of college, I forget now, one of my professors who was always into research, I was in electronics and communications engineering, and he was talking about something called cell phones.
Sorry?
And we had no clue. Cell phones, okay?
Cell phones, yes.
And he was joking, they were called cell phones because we use a cell in them, a battery cell in them. And which is true, right? And even he did not have much ideas at that time. This was 93, 94, I'm talking about, 1993, 94.
True.
A few years later, just a few years later, mobile phones were pretty much in everybody's hands, right? Things just happened. And today, everybody with a smartphone is on the internet.
Absolutely.
Which means the role of a CISO has become so important in various industries and various roles that CISO is becoming a key person in not only the corporate environment, but also in the country building as well. Now, we know in the defense sector we have three major defense areas, right? So we have the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force, right? So the three areas where you have to protect yourself and also go on the offensive when required.
Right.
Countries are now thinking about the fourth area, which is cybersecurity. You know, this war, I hope the war doesn't happen. Russia and Ukraine are aiming their guns against each other, but many experts are saying it may not be the bullet that may be the most devastating, or the bomb that may be the most devastating. The most devastating between the two countries could be a cyber attack,
which happened today, actually.
Which something happened today. Yeah, the news was still
a little hazy, but yeah, the headlines read that Ukraine was.
So Russia actually attacked Ukraine's core, service sectors, and quite a few of those sectors were left in the limbo. So imagine, right? Imagine now that brings up that cybersecurity. So CISO for a nation, I think, is what now we are talking about. So CISO role has become that extremely important, I would say, from the time when I started, and in the past 6 years, it has grown a lot, actually. Yeah.
True. From a from a good to have, it's actually become a must to have role.
Essential. Yeah. Essential. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, where do you think is India in adoption of cybersecurity technologies in their businesses compared to developed nations?
Okay. Now, interestingly, that you use the word developed. Now, I know the developed countries are, doing a lot in terms of the whole evolution of the internet and cybersecurity and online businesses, shopping, everything, right? I mean, we are on a Zoom call which goes through the cloud. Everything is on the internet. You are sitting somewhere. I'm sitting somewhere. I'm sitting in the cozy warmth of my home, and
Right.
doing this interview. So it becomes, it becomes imperative that every country, also grows to that level. And what I've seen in India is that the cybersecurity startup arena has grown all of a sudden. It's like a BMW going from 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. All of a
Right.
sudden, in the past 3-4 years, there has been quite a few of cybersecurity startups, which is a great sign for India. Which is a great sign for India, I would say. Whether they are managed security service providers or products, I do see products as well. I can name. I won't give out the name, but I'll give out one aspect. So we work with a company which is based out of Bangalore, and they do automated red team exercises. Now, this is a completely new concept in the world of cybersecurity, and a Bangalore-based company is doing that and is pioneering that is absolutely great, which means it's great news for India. So India is really up there with the big boys, what you call the developed nations in
Right.
cybersecurity as we speak.
Right. Right. So, I mean, I assume it's fair to say that we're pretty much there as
Yep.
a nation, as a country in cybersecurity. And yeah, I mean, it's only way forward. I mean, India
Correct.
pretty much supports the IT industry overall, the world over. So,
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So the favorable work culture and the favorable subsidies like STPs and special economic zones and all
yeah,
have made it easy for India to evolve as a cybersecurity hub as well. Yeah.
absolutely. Now, what according to you are top 5 industries which have the highest exposure from cyber attacks?
Absolutely. So banks, of course, because you have money there.
True.
Even in those days before cybersecurity and cyber heist,
Mhm.
a bank robbery was always the most. People. I mean, you put in so much effort. I mean, sarcastically, you put in so much effort. You better come out with more money or valuables, right? So
True.
banks are the number one attacked. Banking sector, BFSI is the number one attacked sector. So that includes the stock exchanges and the everything that is got to do with the financial world.
True.
The second most attacked industry is the medical industry. Medical. We saw that in some of the ransomware that has come up in the recent past, and healthcare is another area which is always getting attacked. Third is of course all the online-based e-commerce companies. So
Right.
when you are shopping online and you can take over, if you can take down Amazon today, you are the richest person in the world, isn't it?
True.
So so these are the top three, and if you look at other areas, of course manufacturing sector comes next,
Right.
which includes the power grid and everything. Because if you can control a huge manufacturing sector, then you are controlling a lot of things, right? You can take over the intellectual property. You can
Right.
do a lot of damage to a company, to a country also. So
True.
that is manufacturing comes next. And strangely enough, the education, universities, attacking universities so that you can gain access to a lot of information, is also among the top 5 or 10, I would say. So these are the industries that are constantly under attack,
Right.
and we have to be very careful about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, because the CIO role has become, or the CISO role has become so huge, what advice would you give a person who's going into a CISO's role for the very first time?
Quite a bit of knowledge I would like to share here. One is, know your environment.
Mhm.
You cannot protect what you do not know. Okay, a lot of companies still don't have a proper inventory, a proper IT inventory, a proper uh, they don't know what is their assets, where their assets are lying, where their data is lying,
Right.
where the data is getting generated, processed, destroyed. Many companies are come up with a blank on this. There is no comprehensive inventory sometimes that is available. Okay, so that is number one. So always focus on your environment, know your environment very well end to end, so that you can put your arms around it. Unless you put your arms around your environment, you won't be able to protect it as good as that, right?
True.
And second, know what your key assets are. In cybersecurity terms, we say that as your crown jewels. Know what your crown jewels are.
Right.
Today, if somebody can get your crown jewels, then your business is coming down to zero. And you, as a CISO, do not want that to happen. So you need to know what your crown jewels are, which means from step number one, finding your assets and your inventory, you have to categorize your inventory and your assets as the most critical, high critical, medium critical, low critical.
Right.
Okay. So the most critical are the ones that you have to guard with your life. Okay. So it is important that you categorize your assets and make sure that your most critical, I mean, all your assets have to be protected, but your most critical assets are the most and well protected ones. So these are two basic ideas that I would like to give any CISO. If you fail in this, you will fail everywhere. Okay,
right.
you can bring in the you can bring in the tools, the strategies, the policies, the procedures, anything,
right?
But it won't work. It won't work. And last, one more advice I want to give you: people. Because when it comes to cybersecurity, people are the weakest link. You can have the tools, you can have the strategies, you can have the policies, procedures, processes, but if people don't follow it, it becomes a problem. In one of my previous organizations, back 5 years ago, an email, a person received an email. It looked so genuine. The person just clicked on it. Within seconds, 4,000 people lost internet access. The malware spread so fast, we had to literally cut that division off in order to make sure the malware doesn't spread to the rest of the company. All it took was one click on a link in an email by an employee. So focus on people. Cybersecurity awareness is one of your top priorities. So as a CISO, you will never be, there can never be an overflow of awareness. Okay. So focus on awareness. Make sure your people know how to differentiate between a phishing email and a genuine email. Make sure your people know which website to access, to browse, and which websites to avoid. Make sure your people know what is a multi-factor authentication, what is various other security tools and strategies that you use that will protect them. Make sure how they can be protected on social media. This is very important, right? So these are some of the advices I would give for a young CISO who is coming into the field. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely, and truly a wonderful pieces of advice, I would say. Thank you so much, Patrick, for sharing about this.